next speaker is Mark. It's our special guest. He will tell us more about MENA space challenges and actually several activities that they're going to implement in May, just this month. Mark, the floor is yours.
Thanks, Alexei. Actually, I don't know how special I am after these wonderful presentations. It's going to be hard to follow that. Really nice special.
Thank you so much.
I mean, Duncan, your presentation was extremely inspiring, and a pun intended there. And that's exactly what I started off doing, and I want hopefully to inspire everyone to either create a business or create an engineering. Any kind of maker who wants to build a robot or a drone or a satellite or something, or has just moving from enthusiast to a professional in the space industry is my goal and my vision. Hopefully I'll be able to help facilitate that. And between the amazing professionals here, Junaid being able to help on the Deloitte side, and Dan creating an ecosystem. So when I start talking about ecosystems in space, I'll skip that part and just copy and paste what Dan said there, because I can't say it as articulately, as he said it. And of course, Omar's amazing long experience, especially with the community building he's doing right now. I think we are in really good company. But to share my screen, my name is Mac, and well, wonderful. Had it right there. Sorry about that. My company's name is Borderless Labs Inc., which is short, or BLINC, which is short for Borderless Labs Inc. And for those of you who've been to an IAC before and seen my booth, I don't know how many people here, feel free to use the chat. I'd like this to be interactive, because a lot of the inspiration that you're going to see is really, if you haven't seen me before, then you probably don't know. So I'll just take you through a tour of memory lane for me. And for those of you who don't know, this is a picture taken by Eric Antonsen, one of the lead NASA risk assessment people for human spaceflight in my camp analog in Jordan. So this is not Mars. This is actually Wadi Rum, Jordan. You could probably see the hot air balloon underneath us, and that's we had an awful lot of international guests there. And this is the program that led me to become one of the brands that's leading the MENA region to the final frontier. So you can tell from the tagline that I am a sci-fi fan, and BLINC is not just because it's short for Borderless Labs Inc. I'm a huge Doctor Who fan, and BLINC is one of my favorite episodes. So that's for the UK people over there, a huge nod to, the 10th Doctor right there. But speaking of inspiration, I was just last month sitting with NASA former chief scientist Jim Green at the Mohammed bin Rashid Space Center. And I showed the screen, and he said, hey, I authorized that poster. So if you remember in 2013, when Curiosity landed on Mars, they had a series of posters. This is probably the most famous one on the right. And little did he know that his poster inspired someone all the way up, Jordanian American on the other side of the globe, to say, we're going to replicate this. But technically, it was astronaut Cyan Proctor's idea for us to replicate this at my camp in Jordan. So this is our space camp that we held in Jordan. It's an analog themed camp, and we replicated this, and it really inspired dozens and dozens of young professionals, entrepreneurs, and makers who became engineers. And I'm going to introduce you to some of them. Some of them are on this call right here. But that's the idea. I mean, just like Duncan said, you inspire and you can change the world. And speaking of inspiration, last year, Saudi Arabia launched through Axiom Space on SpaceX rocket a man and a woman to the International Space Station, Rihanna Bernoulli. And when they came back, the CST, or Communication Space Technology, or actually Saudi Space Agency, did not have the means to be able to hold the celebration parties. And I got that contract, and I brought this whole team from Jordan and the United States to be able to do the outreach events and inspiration of Saudi to space. So these young men here built the rovers you're about to see. These young women built the spacesuits you're about to see. And the four of us in the middle are the citizen scientist astronauts with the International Institute of Astronautical Sciences. So if you look at this life support system spacesuit in the middle, built by these young women over here, engineers. There's not a costume. This is actually a functioning life support system with cooling and CO2 scrubbing and air conditioning filtration, you name it, and pressurization. And this Curiosity Perseverance size rover built by a team of 15 people in here. Three of them, Omar here is probably on the call, and the gentleman wearing this, so somebody's on the call as well. So super proud of the amazing talent that just started off as enthusiasts and step by step became into amazing engineers that hopefully will have amazing careers in the space industry. And that is what we're aiming to achieve. Those of you who know the MENA region and the Gulf know Frank, and he's an amazing guy, amazing character, and vice governor of the CST. And it was an honor to be able to do this program in September. But back in the US, those of you who know the SLS and Artemis program with the SLS rocket and the Orion capsule, here we're doing that life support system training. So this is my COO, David. This is our logo. And this is Dara. She actually designed the first 3D printer to go to space. If you remember that picture of Sparky holding a PLA wrench on the International Space Station, she actually designed that for a company called Made in Space. And now she's with us on our team. And this is me wearing my Jordanian flag on my shoulder as we do again IVA training with the blue suit. It's simulations with the Virgin Galactic and suborbital, and with the orange suit we're doing water survival training. So here I'm actually egressing the Orion space capsule simulation mock-up, simulating an emergency event, and I have to save ourselves and save our astronauts. And one of our crew here, Amanda, we're going to congratulate her because she's going to space next month on Blue Origin. So one at a time, everyone's going, and I have yet to wait my turn. David actually was one of the runners-up to go to space on the Inspiration 4 mission, but Cyan never got sick, so she ended up going. So I have not gone to space yet, but we're doing all the human spaceflight training that hopefully will get us there. But that was IVA training, and this is EVA training. So to actually put on an EVA suit and assemble an Axiom space station is a huge honor, and to be able to learn everything from space medicine. I know Dan had questions about space medicine, to construction, pressurization, everything is a huge honor. And this is David, COO, and NASA scientists and everything. He's doing lunar training. I'm doing zero gravity training here as well. But this is with the International Institute of Astronautical Sciences. And this is something, ask us how you can do it, because you can, this is something that's open to the public. This is not something you have to go through a space agency for. So we want to, and one of the things we want to bring to the MENA region as well, a young woman scholarship like this. Oh, bad internet here. Let me know if I start losing internet, and I'll switch connections. But yeah, my team and I are honored to be a part of this program, and not just this program. We actually get to fly fighter jets with the Polaris Dawn mission. If you know, Jared Isaacman is flying in like a month or two now on his second space flight mission. The first one is a Inspiration 4, and the next one is the Polaris Dawn here. So I got to fly one of his fighter jets, and David, my COO. Oh, so when you guys fly fighter jets, you guys fly with pilots. When I fly fighter jets, I fly with astronauts. So that's the difference between you and me. But no, it's a huge honor to have. Here's David with the SpaceX suit with Jared's MiG-29 behind him. It's a huge honor. And my favorite is not the MiG. My favorite is the Alpha Jet here. But simulating launch and landing G-forces, they pushed me up to 7.5 G's sustained for 6 seconds. And which is way more than launch and landing, but it's super cool, super fun. And these are some of the awards I want to give to some of the challenges that I'm about to share. But no, here's the crew of the the Polaris Dawn mission here, Sarah and Anna, Scott Petit and Jared, and here's David and all the fighter jets. So it's a huge honor to be a part of the family that actually goes to space. I'm going to fly through some of these because we actually do aviation inclusion and outreach, and this plane went all the way down to Latin America. I'd like to do this program in the MENA region as well. Our class of 2020, from people building Canada Arm 3 to people building space station for Axiom Space now, and Sea Aerospace building Orbital Reef, and David and I here. So I want to see this flag. I want to see a lot more MENA flags here. So I see a lot of MENA people in the audience, and I want to see UAE, Saudi, Jordan. I want to see more flags representing more countries. So look at the diversity here that you see, and that's why I'm really proud of the International Institute of Astronautical Sciences and their Space for All Nations program. So it's a huge honor to be a part of that. And the director of the program, astronaut Winston Scott, allowed me to bring a young man and woman to hopefully inspire people from the MENA region. And yeah, from people from Bill Nye the Science Guy to George Whitesides and Loretta and Cyan, and these are all people. You're all in the space industry here, so it's just name dropping is probably not a big thing in this circle. But those of you who have seen me in Yuri's Night or at IACs kind of know the circles we hang out with. I mean, Tim Ellis, this is a huge business conversation. For those of you who don't know Tim Ellis, I mean, he started a company called Relativity Space. Oh God, this was probably before Relativity. No, this was after he created Relativity. And a simple pitch. I mean, the Deloitte people will love this one. He had nothing but a pitch deck of, this is a spool of wire and this is a 3D printer. If you give me money, I'm going to create the world's largest 3D printer, and we're going to turn, we're going to 3D print rockets every day. So Mark Cuban gave him his first check for $750,000 for 25% of the company, which is now, a few years later, valued at $4.5 billion. And yeah, Mark Cuban made up for all the Shark Tank losses in just this one investment. So yeah, the space startup ecosystem. Again, I'll have a lot to say about that, but there's a lot of SMEs here that started with startups. The biosphere, for those who know, the actual Analog Astronaut Conference is happening next week, and I'm there every year, and I bring a lot of scholarships with us. I have a full-time employee actually working at the biosphere. For those who don't know, it's a $200 million building that was completely sealed off in the 90s for 2 years. They put 8 astronauts in there, locked them up, and see how we can live on other planets. Can we survive, and can carbon dioxide and oxygen replacement with plants and animals and humans be turned into an artificial biosphere? A lot of successes and failures there, and we still have a lot to learn. The UAE is building their own, or got the funding to build their own, and hopefully we should all collectively, try to work together on being able to be partners, in these types of programs, because this is the beginning. We don't have, we want to be multi-planetary. We got to build the infrastructure and ecosystem for that. Zero gravity flights. These are just really prizes I want to give for the competitions. I'm going to move on to the competitions right now, but yeah, training and the knowing people from the Artemis missions. This is Jessica Watkins, of course, Jessica Meir, and Christina Cook actually is going on Artemis 2 with Jeremy Hansen and Victor Glover and Reese Wiseman around the moon. So hopefully we'll see Jessica Meir and Jessica Watkins on Artemis 3, September of 2026. And to me, I think that is going to be that ChatGPT moment for space. You step outside of our circles and no one knows what we're talking about. But then again, February of last year, nobody knew AI like they know it now. And then after March and ChatGPT made it so popular in the public domain, everyone's talking about AI. All investors are talking about, how do I invest in AI? And space, everyone is going to be talking about space when a woman walks on the moon, just like everyone's talking about AI. And I think I don't need to sell that in front of this audience, so I'll just move on. But I think I'm seeing heads nod, so it's definitely But you can't do that without the rockets, and SpaceX is building the Starship for it. A keen eye here would see that there's no diverter flame or hot staging ring up there. So this was the first flight, but of course we've been there for the second, third, and we should be going to Texas
2
in the
minutes,
next
please.
couple of weeks.
Mark, sorry.
All
2
right.
minutes, please.
All right. So it's an honor to be part of this family. But the way I got there was creating these analog astronaut camps and through all these challenges. All these young men and women, I gave them $1,000 each, and look at the rovers they made, look at the spacesuits they made. So look, a couple years later, I gave them $5,000, look at the spacesuits they made. And we made an amazing space camp, and people from NASA and Space Camp USA all around the world came to our space camps. Look at the size of this rover. If you went to the IAC, you would have seen it. And here it is at our booth at the IAC, and heads of agencies around the world came and saw all this amazing work, invited us to their booths, invited us to their countries, here with the head of NASA. And we hosted Yuri's night, we had Apollo astronauts, and of course we film everything, and we produce it in a language that I've never seen it, so that's the inspiration. We won Startup of the Year in Jordan with an amazing team of astronauts and scientists. But how do we do that? We did it by creating prizes. And this is the prize that we're doing for the MENA. It's a $10 million challenge, like an X Prize, but unlike the challenges you always see, this is a reverse challenge. That's millions of dollars in funding, millions of dollars worth of awards. We're going to host it in the UAE. And just like Dan said, to create an ecosystem of space startups and space nerds. We have 6 challenges. First challenge, the Moon Mars Rover Design Challenge. You've seen what my teams have done before. Top 100 teams with the best presentations are going to get up to $20,000 each towards prototype and building. Dan asked about human health and performance. We just spent the last 60 years sending the healthiest people on the planet to space, 3 people at a time. We know nothing about space medicine, space nutrition, biomonitoring, exercise physiology. That is the second challenge. Any problem you can give us with a solution, you can enter and give, top 100 teams will get up to $20,000 towards building your prototype, your sensor, your exercise. Small sat design challenge, you guys are familiar with small sat, give us the idea, and you might be funded to build your own small sat, and some of the prizes are, of course, if we launch to space. You've seen all the space suits that they've developed before. I want more teams to develop even more space suits. I want skin tight suits. I want underwater EVA suits. I want neutral buoyancy suits. So the sky's the limit. The only thing that's going to limit you is your own creativity. The 5th challenge is a drone challenge. I don't want just in-air drones. I want underwater drones. I want wireless communication underwater. I want underwater swarms. There's billions of dollars worth of IP that can be developed there. And for this community, the most important for me is the Deep Space, Deep Tech Entrepreneurship Challenge. It's a pitch competition. I'll do the hard work. I'll get the accelerators, incubators. I've been getting 100 investors controlling over $200 billion worth of assets to actually sit down and listen to pitches from startups, SMEs, actual companies. Even Axiom Space basically just raised $380 million, and they're still raising more, and they're going to be on stage asking for funding from all of these investors. So it's going to be a pitch competition. All you got to do is sign up. You go to menaspacechallenge.com. We're announcing it today. And the finals are going to be October 29th, 30th, 29th, 30th, and 31st in the Expo City in Dubai, in front of hundreds of investors, hundreds of thousands of participants, hundreds of teams, 6 challenges, and you can get up to $20,000 each, up to $20,000 towards building and prototyping your challenge, and nothing is stopping you. So go ahead, sign up, and looking forward to seeing you in Dubai. And thanks again for your time. Thanks again for Alex and everyone who inspired us to be here.
Thank you so much, Dan. One short question, just yes or no. Can UK startups ecosystem participate in this challenge? Because lots of guys today are from the UK and representing UK community.
That's a wonderful question. This is a worldwide challenge for anyone in the world. The reason why we created it is because there are so many challenges like this in the US, but you're not allowed to participate if you're not a US citizen. Here we're doing it. It's because anyone in the world can participate. It is just being held in the MENA region. That's why we're calling it the challenge, but it's open to anyone regardless of race, color, nationality, or anything. So yes, I would. I want to see thousands of people from dozens and dozens of countries. And of course, the reason why I'm here on this call today is because I'm trying to recruit people from the UK as well.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much.